Hello and welcome to this director conversation as part of Made in Prague 2020. My name is Gareth Evans and it's a great pleasure to be in conversation very shortly with Adam Olha, the co-director with Jan Daňhel of Athanor, the Alchemical Furnace, the wonderful documentary exploring the life, world and work of the incredible Czech filmmaker and artist Jan Švankmaje. It's part, as I said, of Made in Prague 2020, which runs now exclusively online throughout November here in London as part of the Czech Centre UK's ongoing programme celebrating Czech culture in all its forms. Many thanks indeed to Renata and Pavel, particularly at the Czech Centre, for making both this event and the whole series possible. Adam, it's a great pleasure to be with you in conversation about your wonderful documentary, which I hugely enjoyed. I have fortunately met Jan Švankmaje and been to Švankov, the house. So I have a sense of this extraordinary world, both on screen, of course, and behind the scenes, his life and work and his incredible alchemical imagination and residency, if you like, in the Czech countryside. But for those people who don't know the world of Jan Švankmaje, this is an extraordinary document and one, of course, that brings the full range of his creativity and imagination to us. Now, you both were involved in the making of his most recent feature film, Insects. But how did this idea of a documentary come about? Because it's well overdue and hugely necessary, but it's not necessarily a given with Jan Švankmaje because he's not the most conversational of people, should we say.
Yeah, thank you. First of all, I want to say hi to everybody, and I thank you very much for inviting us to this festival that we took part also 8 years ago. And I remember it very well with a great audience of London. Thank you very much. And back to your question, like the beginning of the film would be not possible without the producer Jaromír Kallista, who actually called us to cooperate on the last film of Jan Švankmajer, Insect. And that's why we started to make this film. Like he was asking us, like, if we are up to do it, and we said, of course, we will be pleased because it's probably the first chance after the years to make a portrait of the work that they created together. There was just one condition, and the condition was like it's not the film about Švankmajer. Mm-hmm. It's the film about the whole company. And we said, okay, it smells a little bit strange, but let's try it because obviously, like the main character will be Švankmajer anyway. So we came to him, and the good thing was that we weren't doing these first steps, which are the most difficult for the filmmaker to approach the character. You know, we were there 2 years shooting the Insect, so it slowly came out of the idea to make documentary also because Švankmajer had a documentary line in his film. So it was a big help. And of course, then there was no very visible what will goes on those following years, because he said that Insect is going to be the last movie he created, like the long feature. And so we were not very sure what will proceed, but shortly he started to work again. He was writing the books and doing a lot of artwork, and so many situations revealed into documentary style. So we are very happy.
Tremendous. I mean, what I really like about the opening of the film is that we're just straight into the world that that you're part of, the making of Insects, the life of the house, the friends, the surrealist community in the Czech Republic and so on. There's no labeling of names and people. We just meet them as you already know them, of course. So we feel like we're inside very quickly, and it doesn't go through the sort of laborious setup that many making of or study of kind of documentaries do, which I think is great. And it immerses us, you know, immediately in this world, which both has this extraordinary visionary imagination at its heart, but also, of course, is a really practical making of space. We see Švankmaje with his tricycle scooter. We see people falling down the stairs. We see the kind of whole reality of making work, which I think is really crucial. But as you said just now, it's about the company, and there's this constant tension, a creative dynamic tension between the individual at the heart, Jan Švankmaje, and of course his late wife Eva, who's crucial to the film, and then this larger sense of relationships. So I wonder, when you were filming, just in terms of the long time that it took to make, of course, to gather the material, how you navigated the kind of the observational aspects of the film and the setting up of certain sequences.
As Daňhel said in the previous interview, like he was saying it very nicely, like we were kind of in the position of hunting the wild but very shy animal,
Mm-hmm.
which says maybe the most of the answer, that basically we were very free to work, and nobody was telling us any other conditions. But the first thing was, like we said to each other, we both directors, we both are kind of introverts in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Jan maybe a little bit more, me I'm more communicative, but we created the idea to follow what's going on. We were not trying to direct the situations before. We were not trying to get into some kind of script, because we were basically following the basic rule of Švankmajer's work, that the process is much more important than the final artifact.
Mm-hmm.
And that's growing up from the surrealistic thinking. And we just said that we would like to do kind of parasite movie, which allows us to use all the scale of film language, which is not necessarily copying the Švankmajer style.
Mm.
That was our first condition. We said, okay, like let's see what's going on, what the situation will reveal, and we just follow that. And we created the style of like using two capturing kind of perspectives. One was like the normal like objective video cam that I was operating, and another one was like more free way of thinking and filming in the same time by 8mm Super 8 format, which was mostly operated by Jan Daňhel. And so we got some situations all together, and we decided to split them somehow and connect them again with another connections, but filming in the same time. This allowed us also to think about the situation that happens, and maybe might be a little bit like more simple for the people who watch that. Those are like daily situations that comes, but we try to organize this material by different system than usual portrait is being made. So this was our big deal and big obsession to use free language.
No, it's tremendous. I mean, I really like the way that you hint at Švankmajer's own filmic language. I mean, particularly around the use of close-up, which he speaks about very early on in the film, the kind of generation of an almost sort of elusive sense of meaning in his own work, which then allows the audience just to start paying attention properly to what's going on. And so you use elements of that. You're very good on sound as well, and that tactile sense of film, which of course is so crucial to his body of work. But then you absolutely, as you say, take it in your own direction. Now, you had a number of key events that were obviously taking place during filming. The insects, of course, itself, aspects of Švankmajer's life between Prague and the countryside. And then, of course, this big exhibition at the Eye Museum in Amsterdam, which is the largest showcase, of his work in all its forms to date. And we see that unscrolling before us, the choice of objects, the installation, etc., his challenge around how texts are presented. What is your sense in the process of making the film, and particularly around the Eye Museum experience, of how he is regarded within the Czech Republic now and internationally, beyond his role as a filmmaker? Do you have a sense that he's taken on now as a great artist?
I think he's much more recognized outside of Czech Republic, and that's the first thing. Like we started to film in Rotterdam on the film festival. That insect was presented, and that very moment, like it took a Dutch way somehow, because the situation made in Rotterdam were leading us also to following this exhibition in Amsterdam, which we didn't know about. It was clear just 1 year after we started the filming that something like that would happen. And again, it was like organic process, because that happened, and it is in the movie that the curators from iMuseum came to him while signing some papers and autograms, and asking him about this exhibition, and he said yes, but Kallista said, "Oh, we will see. You know, you need to send up the blueprints of." And we said, okay, that would be great, like to emerge that. And sorry, maybe I didn't understood the second part of the question, but it's
well, the sense really of his status, which you've answered very well within the Czech Republic. But I wonder now how you know with your travels with Švankmajer, how you appreciate the perception of him as a great artist, not only a filmmaker.
It's the part of it. I mean, he doesn't like to speak about himself like an artist, which I actually understand, because being artist for him is not very precise word. He rather used the word creation, and that refers to the fact that all the creation is universal. So for him, doing movies or whatever other objects or drawings is the same process. So he's using the same obsessions, he's using the same like sources of his kind, and very universal things to reveal. And that's why people are fascinated, because, you know, they think, okay, there is the filmmaker who draws, but actually it's not true. Like Švankmajer is the person who can surprise in every minute, and likely he's becoming the writer. You know, he wrote the 2 novels, and I hope they will be translated soon to English, because he's super fast, and he made 2 books in 1 or 2 years during the 2 years, which are quite thick. So I hope they'll be translated, and that actually shows his universality, because this text is not just a creation of the epic form of something, but it's kind of collage. So full of facts, full of interviews also. So it's not the usual like epic. One is like dystopic novel about the ending of the Western civilization, which I think is very actual, and it partly reveals also the comments that he's using in Tate Modern Gallery in London in that movie.
Thank you very much. I mean, I don't want to spoil the film in advance, because some people will be watching this conversation before seeing, of course, and others afterwards, and there's so much to discover. But what the film does really well is, obviously, as you've already hinted at, suggests Švankmajer's much larger worldview, which obviously is much more deeply rooted outside of a Western rationality, a simple sense of a kind of civilizational progress. Actually, that's something he fundamentally resists, and so on. So as you were developing the film, did you kind of consciously take on the idea that this was becoming a much larger statement? I mean, not just about him and the company, but actually a much larger vision of, you know, where we are in human, you know, society, so-called, and the crisis of our times.
Of course, this is a nice question. Thank you. I would like to say to that the importance was also at the beginning that Jan Daňhel, another director, is a part of the group of Czechoslovak surrealists for longer than 20 years. So they know each other with Švankmajer very well. They're working in the group in very nice and playful mode, because they are doing actually the games. The surrealist group is always about collectivity. So they know each other through work process. And so Jan Daňhel already knew what topics are the most strong in his personality or the creation process, but also in the meaning of his life connected to that. And The thing is that his wife is very important, and we knew it at the beginning that Eva should be there, and she should be there, not just that person coming from the archive, but something alive, which is still there. And those things connected together gave us the picture of how deep it should go, what should be the content, because of course there are plenty of things that you can follow on Švankmajer, and we just didn't want to make it superficial in a way of visuality, let's say, because he's always visual, there is no doubt about that. And I think this came very fast, and we started to speak about Eva quite soon, and it gave us a little better feeling about continuity of shooting, because we said, okay, this is the thing that we wanted to ask him. It's very important and crucial because it's creation. It's connected to creativity. It's not just his wife. And this came, and we became calm because he was like speaking openly about everything, and that was a good sign at the beginning. And we said, okay, so now we have a content, and of course she's in the movies, she's in the literature that he made, she's in the artwork, so that was the good connection for us to achieve.
No, I mean, she's absolutely a partner and a collaborator in the film, of course, and his lifelong creative partner as well as wife. And we sense her presence profoundly. I think the film, among the many things it gives us, of course, is for most viewers, perhaps they will not be aware of her role independently as a maker, but also, of course, with him. And I think the film's crucial value is that it does expand the sense of what Švankmajer's world is, and across media, particularly the tactile and animist projects, notably. For most viewers, I can speak for UK viewers, and we are in a UK-based festival at the moment, they will not know about that larger world. We haven't had the chance here for a major exhibition, etc., etc. And so I think the film does an enormous service on that front. So when you were moving towards a kind of a conclusion to the film, obviously at some point you had to decide to stop. What was the kind of the prompt to stop filming and then to start gathering, to shaping it?
In documentaries, this is a very funny thing, because once you start, you never stop, and then you need to stop in some certain moment, of course. First, the reason to stop is obviously that you need to declare the state fund that you used all the money, and there is a decline. That's the first thing. Second thing, they always were saying, we are old, you need to finish it as soon as possible, because we might die. That didn't happen. I'm very happy about it. And the third thing was that how it was, like we were already ready. I mean, it's not a matter of money, but we were gathering more than 160 hours of material, I would say, but together with the insect, because insect was part of the shooting, which was really big. And we said, okay, enough. After I would say after Amsterdam exhibition, we knew that we had kind of ending, but still there was missing some ending itself, and that was actually what is appearing at the beginning of the movie, is this big dinner that they made with Tatar beef, and they are eating, and then Kallista is openly speaking about how it is with the movie, how the situation is. So the kind of introduction of the movie was the last shooting day. It was directly before we went to editing room. In that sense, I would like to add just one important thing, and that is that we were filming and editing in the same time. So there was a part of filming that was going on, and then very soon we sit down and we were going through the material, and we were trying to find what is important and what not. And then again we were shooting, and then again we were editing. And last half a year of work was just editing. So we were not shooting anymore.
Thank you very much indeed. Well, I mean, it's a real pleasure to be in conversation with you about the film, and it feels like, you know, an important document, obviously not just in terms of Švankmajer, his world and his work, but also the times in which we find ourselves, right? It asks us to think about the journey that we're on as a collective species, as a civilization, and to question whether there are other ways that we could be in the world, which obviously seems more important and pertinent, you know, a question than ever, you know. And so I think the documentary, you know, is both a, you know, crucial statement for those who don't know Švankmajer's world, for those who do know his cinema but don't know the rest of his work, and for all of us in a much wider sense. So I wish it great success and circulation. I hope it finds its home across the world, and it's a great pleasure to have it in the UK premiere here as part of Made in Prague. Many thanks for being with us, Adam. Thanks to Jan, and thanks to everyone involved in the festival. I do hope if you're watching this conversation before the film that we haven't spoilt the pleasure of the film too much for you. If you're watching it after, I hope Adam's wonderful responses give us a further insight into the film. Many thanks indeed for being with us, Adam Olha. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure for me, and I greet all the spectators, and I wish them good nerves to watch it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Great.